Today we're going to be talking about ratios as percents, and first off I want to talk about the word percent and I want to break it down. So we have per-cent. What does the word per mean? What does the word per mean? Well, we have per person, we have per family, per mile, per dollar, per classroom. There's tons of different things to refer to per as. And it's another way of saying in, every, or for every. So in or for every. So for every person, for every family, in every classroom. Awesome. So that's what per means. What does the word cent mean? Where have you heard that word cent? What does cent mean? Well, there's cents as in change, like pennies. There's centipede, as in the little squirrely bug. There's centimeter. There's century. What do all of those have in common? They have 100 in common. So, since there's 100 pennies in $1, a centipede has 100 legs, a century has 100 years. So, percent means in or for every 100. Okay? So, where have you heard the word percent before? Where have you heard the word percent before? Maybe on a test score. That's where we hear it most, right? Okay, so we're going to start talking about percents, and I want you to think about percents as the same as a fraction over 100. Okay, so if we have 50%, that means 50 parts out of every 100. 50 parts out of every 100. Okay? You can also write it like this, 50% with the percent symbol. I'm going to write that in parentheses, percent symbol. Or you can write it, like I said, a percent is a fraction over 100. So you could write it 50 over 100. And both of these say the same thing as this. 50 parts out of every 100. You can also draw it on a square. So say you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you have 10, and then do 10 this way. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. So if we had 0%, 10%, 20%, all the way up to 100%, where would 50% be? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So this would be 50% of 100. Okay? Maybe I should make that a different color. This would be 50% of 100. Okay. Let's start with some problems now. So we are going to start finding a percentage of numbers, of different numbers, or we're going to start finding, so we could find a percent of a whole, or we can find a part of a whole. So let's take this problem first. 50% of 400 equals. So what is that asking us? That's asking us percentage times the whole quantity equals the part. Because we're trying to find the part. So another way you could write this is 50% times 400 equals the part. So how you would start this is you would convert this 50% into a fraction and then multiply. So I'm going to convert this into a fraction. How would I do that? 50 over 100 times 400 equals what? What does that equal? Well, there's two ways I can do this. I can do it by putting this over 1 and cross multiplying. 50 times 400, that is, let me do it over here. $20,000 over 100, which I see that there's zeros in both of these. I'm just going to cancel some of these zeros out. I'm going to cancel this 0 out, and then these 2 zeros out. Oh, so I have 200 over 1, which equals 200. So that's one way you can do it. An easier way that I like to do it is like this. So we have 50 over 100 times 400. Okay, so I know I put this over 1. I know that 100 and 400 have 100 in common. So I'm going to cross this out, and I'm going to put a 1 down here, and I'm going to cross this out, and I'm going to put a 4 up here. So 4 times 50 is way easier for me to think about. I know that 4 times 50 equals 200, and I know 1 times 1 equals 1. So I have 200. So 50% of 400 equals 200. So we found the part of the whole. 200 is 50% of 400. Okay, next we're going to use a tape diagram for this word problem. So we are going to be working with books in this word problem, and it says 10% of the books on my shelves are science fiction. So 10% of the books on our library are science fiction. There are 24 science fiction books. How many books do I have altogether? So I know I'm going to use a tape diagram. Remember the tape diagram? So I know that this is 0% and this is 0 books. I know that I have 100% over here. I said that 10% of the books in our library are science fiction. So I have 10% here, and then I can go 20%. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Because I know that 0 to 100 by 10%. I also know that 10% of my books are science fiction, and there are 24 science fiction books. So, I know know that I could skip count all the way up to 100. So 24, 24, 24, 24, 24, 24, 24, 24, 24. So I could either add all those together, add them all together using addition, or I could say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 24 times 10. 24 times 10 equals, what does that equal? 24 times 10. That equals how many books? How many total books? So what is that? How many total books do I have? See how the bar can be divided by tens, and then you just add or multiply, whichever's easier. So that must mean I have 240 books. Okay? Okay, you could also do this using the double number line. You can also do this using the double number line. So I'm going to erase this and show you, let's write on here a tape diagram. Tape diagram. Okay, this was the tape diagram. Got it? Okay, let's do it using the double number line. Let's do it using the double number line. Double number line. So we have number line 1, we have number line 2, we have 0%, 0 books. We have 100%. I'm not supposed to know how many books. Total books. Okay. So, you just go 10% is 24 books. 20% is 48 books. 30% is, what is it? 72 books. 40%, 96 books. 50%, 120 books. 60%, 144 books. 70%, 168 books. 168. 80%, 192 books. 90%, 216 books. And how many books did we have the last time we checked? 240 books. Okay, so that's using the double number line